Hey there, Chad here from the AI Content Dojo, and back with another video showing you how to do something really cool with GPT-3 AI. I'll be showing it inside of Shortly because this is probably the only tool that you can do this in right now. But if you haven't heard, ShortlyAI has been acquired by Conversion.ai, so I imagine it's only a matter of time before you would be able to use this technique inside of Conversion.ai as well. Jarvis is probably going to learn how to do this, and that's a good thing. It means that you combine this sort of technique and capability, some of Shortly's powers, with what Conversion.ai is already good at, and you're going to have a pretty awesome tool on your hands to get a lot more done in your business. And anyway, what I want to show you is the power of patterns. Now, I get asked a lot, how do you do reviews of like products or restaurants or things like that? And I'm always hesitant to show how to do that because there is so much that goes into a good review, right? You shouldn't be trying to just use AI to like generate a review because that's not authentic. Now, obviously, if you do it right, if you follow what the right way of using the AI is as an assistant, right? And so if the content at the end of the writing session, the review that you've just written, even though AI is helping you, is deeply and honestly, truthfully what you would have written, and isn't just something generated by AI, then there's nothing wrong with that, right? That's exactly what the AI is intended for, is to help you do your writing faster and maybe giving you a few insights along the way to do things maybe a little bit different than what you had originally planned for. But it's not intended to completely write everything for you from scratch and then you don't edit or do anything with it and you just publish as is. Eventually, I believe that there's going to come a time where Google and the search engines and stuff are going to be very well aware, not necessarily that the content is AI generated, but that the content is not as good as the content that is a hybrid between the human writer, the human experience, and the AI assistance. And just because the quality of it will be lower in general, compared to the writers out there who really try hard to do this right, the generated content by this AI is just not going to rank. That's going to be the punishment, probably. It's just that it's not at the quality level that it needs to be to rank, and therefore you might as well not even generate it because it won't give you what you probably are hoping for in these reviews. If you're trying to generate reviews as quickly as possible, you're probably trying to do it for like Amazon affiliates or some kind of an affiliate site or something. And honestly, the best way to do a review is to purchase the product or the service, use it for a while, see how it fits into your life, and that kind of thing. One analogy that I like to give is that somebody was asking me some time back how to write a review on like baby products, and I asked them if they have a baby themselves, and they never really responded, but I assume they didn't, because I said, a mom grabbing a camera or her smartphone real quick with her baby bouncing on her knee with this toy in the baby's hand, and she's sharing her experience right there just in a quick 30-second, 1-minute video, is going to crush any attempt to try to generate reviews of products through AI. It's just that lived experience is so key to the best reviews that if you don't do it, it's pretty much obvious. You can research as much as you want, and it does get to the point where no matter how much research you do, it's not going to come through. The review is going to feel unfinished. So anyways, off my soapbox, I still want to help you be able to write them. And so I'm developing a tool to help you learn how to use patterns inside of GPT-3 AI applications, in this case, Shortly, but in the future, probably Conversion.ai as well. And the tool, I'm calling it Pattern AI, missing the E because, I'm hip and modern. The tool is basically a way for you to learn these patterns. It's not really intended to be a tool that you use all the time, although you could, because it would give you some shortcuts. And this tool is not ready yet. It's not online. You can't find it on the web, on the AI Content Dojo website just yet. It will be published relatively soon, but I'm still doing some finishing touches and I have some more patterns to add to it. But in today's video, I'm going to talk about the restaurant review pattern, which looks like this. So what you would type in is the name of the restaurant. Actually, probably want a little bit more than that. So I'm going to say Jiro's Sushi in downtown Tokyo. Maybe even put Japan on there. And like, it's the absolute best sushi in Japan. Fantastic atmosphere. Let's see, impeccable. See if I can spell that. Impeccable service and an amazing experience. Okay, so obviously I've got some design fixes to do. That they're, not enough space to write the stuff in there, but you just hit craft and it's going to generate a sort of pattern for you. You just copy this and then you take it into Shortly. Right now this is just a blank document. There's nothing in the article brief, no title, and just paste it right here. So the key things here are, let me first turn off Grammarly. So you have, this is just there just in case you're pasting this into an article or a document inside of Shortly that already has some content in it. In the future, if you're doing this in Conversion.ai, this / in Conversion.ai is actually triple hashtags, okay? So that's what cuts off the context in Conversion.ai. But if you're in Shortly, you leave it as triple slashes. Okay, so write a restaurant review based on these notes. This is just something that's kind of informing the AI that below are some information that we're going to use to kind of write the review. And then it shows the name of the restaurant, and then it goes off into the notes where we wrote the absolute best sushi in Japan. This is something that you are writing. It's almost like a bullet list, but not really in a list format. It's in a comma separated list of the main points that you just kind of want to cover, and you feel like it's a good thing, right? Or your points. I guess it doesn't have to be a good review. You could probably write crap service and all kind of stuff if you wanted to. When you get down here to review, okay, so here's the thing. We're in the sort of the wild west of the AI. I'm going to use the write for me to try and get this thing to give me a review. This sort of pattern here, this name, notes, review pattern, should result in a review, but sometimes it doesn't. And I'll show you a more reliable way to do it after I just do this test here real quick. I'm going to set this to a little just because I don't want it to just write a ton. Put it back here, hit write for me. Let's see if it does. Okay, and then I can keep going. This is going to help me give you another point because this is awesome. So this is one of the great things that you can use Shortly for. That write for me button is powerful, just as powerful as the instruct command. If you follow patterns and know how to sort of mold and control the narrative thread, I guess, through your article, and you end up with something like this. Now, there is definitely something to think about here. Okay, so I live in Tokyo. I've lived here for 24 years. I know a few things about this restaurant. Yes, it's a small restaurant. It's a very small restaurant. Like pretty much just maybe a couple of seats with a counter, basically. It does not have a lot of chefs. There's actually one and his son. And this chef is Jiro, the legendary sushi guy from the documentary that was Jiro's Dreams of Sushi, where he's basically dedicated his entire life to making the absolute best sushi there is in Japan. I actually think that the shop might have closed down, but his son does have another one. But I don't know. I'd have to do some research. It could just be temporary. But this is definitely wrong. So here's what I want you to know is this AI, it knows how to put words together, but it doesn't know how to connect disparate thoughts, bring in or double check facts and things like that. And so you have to be prepared. You have to know your topic. If you don't know your topic and you're just letting the AI write, you're going to end up with an article full of, well, not so true things. And Google's going to find out about that. You're not going to get ranked. So make sure you double check, right? So you would fix this. Does not seat about 30 people. I mean, I think that at max it's like 6 on a night or something like that, or 6 during every 2-hour session or something like that. It's extremely expensive. I think it's more than $250, but that would be a pretty good starting point, I think. But yeah, there's not a small queue. There is no queue. It's essentially booked, or at least it was booked for months in advance, and you could not get in without basically like a local or an industry insider who was like friends with the family could get you in or something. It was just crazy. But anyway, so this is how you would do something like a restaurant review using ShortlyAI. The key point here is that these notes here, right? These notes are yours. They're your own thoughts about this restaurant. You don't just sort of make up stuff and put it in, and that will help the review kind of flow with what your thoughts are. So also, when you put in the name of the restaurant, don't just put the name. Maybe put the name, what it is. It's a sushi restaurant. I probably should have put sushi restaurant in downtown Tokyo, because there's a good chance that the AI doesn't know what that place is, right? It just knows Jiro's Sushi, and well, it connects a lot of information that basically says, well, sushi's from Japan, and if this guy's notes say it's the best, then I'll just say it's the best, that kind of thing. It's not thinking really on its own. It's putting together these words through the way that they connect. And I know that might be a little bit hard to understand, but basically, the more information, the better the information that you can give to Shortly or in the future Conversion.ai. Basically, any one of these GPT-3 AI writers, you'll get a better result in the end if you don't leave out certain things. Like, I probably would have been better off. See, I have restaurant review here, so it knows this is about restaurants. But Jiro's, maybe I should have put in there, is a small sushi restaurant in downtown Tokyo, Japan. That would have been a better name. Even here, you can still go on and on and on and do more. The more you put in there about the restaurant, and be as specific as you want. But if you say a word or describe something that is like unique to that place, then you also need to describe what it is, because there's a good chance the AI has no idea what it is, and it's just going to try and use the word, and it'll probably use the word in the wrong way. So like if I was in there and I said, let's say that I say hashi. Hashi is the Japanese word for chopsticks. If I say hashi and for some reason the AI doesn't know what that is, it's going to use that word and it's probably going to use it wrongly, right? So I would need to describe it. Hashi, which is Japanese for chopsticks, then continue my sentence, if that makes sense. You probably wouldn't have to go into that much detail. But what I mean is when you're in here, and if for whatever reason one of the words you use is very unique to this restaurant, make sure you describe what that is as well. And that should end up giving you what I would say would be more of a start of a review. You don't take this as is. You inject your personality, your experience, more of you into this content before you consider using it. And I think then you'll have a fantastic restaurant review that is AI assisted to get it done faster than ever. So back to Pattern AI. There are other patterns. I will be adding many, many more. Things like, what is this one? Papa is, let me see. It's the problem advantages proof action copywriting formula. And then, of course, everybody knows pass. I just want to show that this is going to be able to do more in the future. And this tool is not yet released, but it may be released relatively soon. I might release it even just with these templates in it after I do some more testing and validating that the results are what I hope they are. And yeah, so that's the end of this video, I guess. I hope that you learned something, that the AI can be shaped, molded using certain patterns. Once you get really good with that, that's like discovering some shortly superpowers, and hopefully Conversion AI captures that when they sort of introduce some of the shortly technology to Jarvis, that so that you can do the same things inside of Conversion AI, because it's really powerful, and I think that it will help writers who ethically use this AI and really put effort into making sure that their writing is the best. This type of tool, this type of pattern and capability of it is going to really bring about some better efficiencies and greater workflows. And so I can't wait to show you more, and maybe even be showing you from inside of Conversion AI here shortly. See what I did there? But also, if you're not in the AI Content Dojo Facebook group, make sure you get in there. A lot of this stuff is described in there at some point too. We share wins and struggles and stuff like that with the tool, with the AI that we're trying to learn, and maybe in the long run will help us all grow a little bit faster in our content businesses. And so that's it. And until next time, take care.